Chapter 1. Cold Open. Right now, somewhere inside you, an army is on patrol. It never sleeps. It never takes a day off. It has kept you alive every single second since before you were born. And one day, for reasons nobody fully understands, it might decide that you are the enemy. Not a virus, not a germ. You. Your own cells, your own organs. The body is spent your whole life protecting. This is not science fiction. It is happening to roughly 1 in 15 people in the country right now. Maybe someone you love. Maybe one day you. This is the story of the day your immune system turns against you. And by the end of this video, you are never going to look at a simple cold the same way again. Chapter 2. The immune system's original purpose. To understand how this goes wrong, you first have to understand the job. Imagine your body is a city, 40 trillion cells, all living and working together. And every city needs protection. So you have an army. We call it the immune system. Billions of tiny soldiers, and they patrol every street, every alley, every organ. But these soldiers have to solve one problem, and it is harder than it sounds. They have to tell the difference between you and not you. A virus is not you. Attack it. A piece of your own heart is you. Leave it alone. Get that wrong in either direction and you die. Miss the virus and an infection kills you. Attack yourself and your body tears itself apart from the inside. So how does a brand new soldier learn from the difference? It goes to school. Deep in your chest, right behind your breastbone, there is an organ most people have never heard of. It is called the thymus. And it is one of the strangest places in your entire body. The thymus is a training camp. Young immune cells march in, and the thymus runs them through a brutal test. It shows each new soldier a piece of you. Your own proteins, your own tissues, and it watches very carefully. If a soldier gets angry at a piece of you, if it wants to attack, the thymus kills it on the spot. Think about that for a second. Your body builds soldiers, and then it executes the ones that would turn on you before they ever could reach the streets. Millions of them die in training every single day. And that ruthless school is the only reason you are not already at war with yourself. Or at least that is the plan. Chapter 3. The first mistake. Because the school is not perfect, every day a few soldiers slip through. Cells that should have been killed in training, but were not. They walk out carrying a secret, the ability to attack you. Most of the time, this is fine. Your body has backup guards whose whole job is to keep those rogue soldiers calm and quiet. So they wander around for years, doing nothing. But sometimes something wakes them up. And one of the ways it happens is so sneaky, it almost feels designed. Let's say you catch a normal infection, a sore throat, strep, nothing crazy. Your immune system shows up, studies the invaders, and memorizes its shape. The same way you would memorize a stranger's face so that you could spot them later in a crowd. Then it destroys the strep. Nice work, Army. You feel better in a week. Except the bacteria you just fought had a shape on its surface that looked almost exactly like a piece of your heart. And your soldiers memorized that face. Now they are patrolling your body, hunting for that face, and they find it on your heart valves. They do not know it is you. To them, the enemy came back, so they attack. Doctors have a name for this. They call it molecular mimicry. The enemy and a piece of you happens to look alike, and your immune system genuinely cannot tell them apart. This really happens. It is how an ordinary childhood sore throat can quickly damage a heart years down the road. One infection, one case of mistaken identity, and the war begins. Chapter 4. When soldiers attack their own city. So what happens next? What does it actually feel like when your own army turns it on you? At first, almost nothing. The attack starts small. A few soldiers hitting a few cells, and you do not feel a thing. There is no alarm that goes off. When your immune system makes a mistake, no warning light, no siren. This is the quiet horror of the beginning. By the time you actually notice something is wrong, the war has often been going for months, sometimes years. Then the damage piles up. Picture your soldiers surrounding one of your own organs, treating it exactly like a dangerous infection. They release chemicals to kill. They call for reinforcements. More soldiers pour in. The whole area swells, heats up, and starts to break down. This is inflammation. Normally, it is a tool for healing. Now, it is pointed inward. And here is the cruel twist. Your body cannot tell that it is making a mistake. From the inside, everything looks correct. The soldiers found an enemy, and they are destroying it, exactly like they were trained to. They think they are being good soldiers. The system is working perfectly. It is just aimed at the wrong target. There is no general who can call off the attack. Nobody in charge to shout, "Stop, that's us." The army just keeps following its orders. Here's the wild part. Depending on which organ it decides to attack, you get a completely different disease. Chapter 5. Real examples of autoimmune diseases. This is the part that surprises almost everyone. Most people think autoimmune disease is one thing. It is not. It is more than 100 different diseases, and they all come from the exact same mistake. The only thing that changes is the target. Watch what happens when we move the attack from one organ to another. Aiming at the pancreas, at the tiny factories that make insulin, the chemicals that let you turn food into energy. The soldiers destroy those factories one by one until you cannot make insulin at all. This is type 1 diabetes. It often strikes in childhood, and before modern medicine, it was a death sentence. Now move the attack to your nerves. Your nerves are wrapped in a coating like the plastic around an electric wire. It helps your signals travel fast. Your immune system starts stripping that coating off, and the signal gets scrambled. A person can lose their balance, their vision, and the feeling in their own hands. This is called multiple sclerosis. Move it to your joints, and your hands swell and ache and bend in the wrong way, because the army is chewing on the lining of your own knuckles. This is called rheumatoid arthritis. Move it to your thyroid, the small gland in your neck that controls your energy, and suddenly you are exhausted all the time or running far too hot. This is called Hashimoto's or Graves' disease. And then there is the strangest one of them all. In a disease called lupus, the immune system does not pick one organ. It attacks something that every single cell contains. It attacks DNA itself, the instruction manual inside you, which means lupus can strike the skin, the kidneys, the brain, the heart, almost anywhere, all at the same time. For a long time, doctors could not figure it out because it looked like a dozen different diseases hiding under one name. Same mistake, same army, just a different target each time. Chapter 6. Why scientists still don't fully understand it. So here's the question. You are probably shouting at your screen, why? Why does this happen to some people and not others? And this is where I have to be honest with you. After more than 100 years of studying it, scientists still do not fully know. They know pieces. They know part of it lives in your genes. If autoimmune disease runs in your family, your risk goes up. But genes cannot be the whole story, because you can carry the exact genes for a disease and never get it. Something else has to pull the trigger. The trigger seems to come from the outside world. An infection, a virus, stress, something in our environment we have not even pinned down yet. The way scientists put it, your genes are like a loading gun, and your life pulls the trigger. But you cannot reliably predict who or when or why. Here's one clue that is almost too strange to be true. Roughly 4 out of 5 people with autoimmune disease are women. For some diseases, the gap is enormous. Lupus hits about 9 women for every 1 man. For another disease called Sjogren's, it is closer to 19 women for every man. For decades, nobody could explain it. Then, very recently, scientists found a suspect. It comes down to the X chromosome. Females have 2 of them. To avoid getting a double dose, every female cell wraps one of its X chromosomes in a special molecule and switches it off. And in 2024, researchers at Stanford found that this molecule and the stuff that sticks to it can itself wake up the immune system and teach it to attack the body. In other words, the very thing that makes a female cell female might be the part of what turns the army inward. We are still not certain that this is the honest answer. We are standing right at the edge of understanding something huge. We are just not quite there yet. Chapter 7, the scary part. Now for the part that might keep you up at night. Autoimmune disease is becoming more common, not a little, a lot. Cases have been climbing years after years for decades, and we do not fully understand why. Something about modern life seems to be confusing our immune system on a massive scale. And remember molecular mimicry? The case of mistaken identity from a normal infection? Here's where it gets personal. There is a virus that almost all of us carry. It is called Epstein-Barr. It is the one behind mono, the so-called kissing disease. About 9 out of 10 adults have caught it at some point, usually without even noticing. In 2022, after tracking millions of people over many years, scientists found that this incredibly common virus dramatically raises the risk of multiple sclerosis. It may even be a necessary first domino, a virus that nearly everyone catches, quietly setting the stage years before any symptoms appear. Sit with that for a moment. The trigger for a serious disease could be an infection you had as a teenager and completely forgot about. And because these diseases can hide for years before you feel anything, the first attacks could already be happening inside some of the people watching this. No symptoms, no warning, nothing to feel, yet. I'm not telling you this just to scare you. Okay, maybe a little. But mostly because the next part is the reason this story is worth telling at all. Chapter 8, the future of treatment. For most of history, we had no real answer. The best doctors could do was turn the entire army down, suppress the whole immune system, the good parts and the broken parts together, and just hope the damage slowed. It works sort of, but it leaves you wide open to every germ out there because you have weakened the one thing that is supposed to protect you. It is like calling off the whole army just to stop a few bad soldiers. But in the last few years, something happened that genuinely stunned the scientists who watched it. Researchers took a tool that originally was built to fight cancer. It is called CAR-T cell therapy. And the idea is wild. You take a patient's own immune cells, reprogram them in a lab, and turn them into hunters with one single instruction: For those patients, the instruction was find and wipe out the specific part of the army that had gone rogue. Then they waited to see what would grow back. And what grew back was a brand new immune system. It was almost like the body had hit a reset button. The new soldiers came back calm. They stopped attacking the body. Patients with severe lupus, people who have been seriously sick for years, went into remission. Some were able to stop their own medicines entirely. Dozens of patients around the world have now been treated this way, and the early results are some of the most exciting things in medicine in a generation. It is still early, it is expensive, it is intense, and we do not know yet how long it lasts. Scientists are very careful to say that it is not a guaranteed cure, but for the first time, we are not just turning the army down, we are teaching it to remember who it was supposed to protect. Chapter 9. Powerful ending. So let's go back to where we started. To that army inside you, on patrol right now, as you watch this, here's what I want you to understand. Your immune system is not your enemy. It never was. Every second of your life, it is solving an almost impossible problem. It has to be violent enough to kill anything that could hurt you, and gentle enough to never touch the trillions of cells that are you. Aggressive and precise, and at the same time, forever, without ever once being handed the right answer. And mostly, astonishingly, it gets it right. For most people, for an entire lifetime. This system makes the correct call billions of times a day and never turns on you. Autoimmune disease is not your body betraying you. It is your body trying so hard to protect you that it makes a mistake. The same loyalty that keeps you alive is the same thing, nudged just slightly off course, can take you apart. Protection and self-destruction turns out to be the same machine, just running in two directions. So the next time you catch a cold or feel awful, the aches, the fevers, the bone-deep tiredness, try to remember what that actually is. That is not the virus hurting you. That is your army fighting for you. That feeling is the sensation of being defended. It is a defense so powerful that the only thing that could ever truly threaten you might be the day it forgets whose side it's on. Take care of it, be amazed by it, and maybe tonight say a quiet thank you to the soldiers who have never stopped once fighting to keep you alive.